we have a Zoom meeting going tonight. We have a YouTube live going tonight, 2 different things. They're down here, so everybody's looking up, so I have to make sure that I pay attention here, maybe suck it in a little bit because they're looking at this direction. Yeah, don't turn sideways. Yeah. So appreciate all of you being here this evening. Appreciate Gary and Haley. They came early and helped get the live stream and the Zoom thing going. So we got that. There's a bunch of people viewing this way this evening. And so those of you that are on streaming, appreciate you joining this evening as well. Sorry that you don't have as good a view because we didn't realize that we thought there'd be another table maybe we could set these up on. But next time we do this, we're going to have a tripod. I came all pumped because I got this new cool devices right here that we're only using one of the 2 tonight. The one we're using tonight is the microphone. I bought this for the party. Hey, how you guys? Bought this for the party so we could have these public meetings, the trainings, and have all of this. If we got any other chairs here, let's scoot down one here. This is a terrible problem, right? Or a great problem. There's one chair down here. If everybody could scoot down a little bit. There's an empty chair here. Oh boy. Okay, they're going to get more chairs downstairs. Hopefully they can find 3 or 4 more. Hey, Sean, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Quinn, good to see you, pal. Good. There's no more chairs down there? Holy cow. This is a good problem. So, yeah, 1 chair in your car. One of the lawn chairs. Is it the reclining kind? Okay. Okay. All right. Well, we will fix this problem. It's a good problem to have that we're out of chairs. I've got probably 50 of the padded chairs at my office, so I will just plan on bringing some of those over, and so we got plenty of room this evening. But we appreciate all of you being here this evening. Tonight is kind of the opening priesthood. How's that? Wow. Yeah. Precinct leadership training. Yeah, I got to make sure I don't do that again. So anyway, but appreciate all of you being here. Tonight is kind of a kickoff for the training for the precinct leaders. We're going to have some information for you about how you have your precincts run very effectively, and how we're going to change the caucus. Excuse me, I'm wiping that terminology out. It's no longer going to be called caucus meetings. Okay, it's going to be called neighborhood elections. Okay, I've done surveys, different things with different people, and everybody likes that rather than caucus. And if we're going to bring a bunch of new people in, they don't have a clue like what that means. I mean, caucus, what that means. I remember when I was first introduced, why would you call it caucus? That sounds like a disease or something. Yeah. And so we're renaming it neighborhood elections, because that's truly what they are in the first place. Okay? So I'm going to go through a PowerPoint presentation near the end tonight that we will give to you, so you've got the information and the talking points about the campaign that we're going to go on this decline to sign. Before I get started, I want you to know I met with 2 of the 3 attorneys that are running for election on the 7th, August 7th. We've sent their bios out to everybody in the CCC. I've visited with them, kind of interviewed them quite a bit to find out what they're doing and why they're doing it, those types of things. I will visit with the 3rd one sometime this next week. But there was a 4th one that filed and then dropped out. So we only have 3. So we're not going to hold a formal election that day, but I spoke with the 3 attorneys that are running, and I said I would really like to go ahead and have candidate speeches, so the governing body, the CCC, sees who they are, and we're going to go ahead and have an election. But that's just to find out who the County Central Committee prefers in order, so when we hand those 3 names over to the county commissioners, they know what the body wants. Fair enough? I wanted to do that. Yes, Haley?
And announce that we're going to have that Q&A still on August 5th.
August 5th, thank you. We're having the candidate question and answer webinar on Zoom. Yes?
Yeah, which one dropped out?
Scott? Stephen Scott. Stephen Scott. Yeah, he dropped out. So we have Larry Myers, we have Jerry Yeager, and we have Zach Wayland. Yeah, those are the three that are in. So we will go ahead and hold that so that everybody has a chance to meet them, get to hear from them, and we will have an election to see how they fall with the SEC, and we'll give that. We're going to give all three names over to them, but they're going to know at least where we they passed us. We're right here, guys. Everybody on the Zoom is going, where'd he go?
Thank you.
We are out of chairs. I apologize. There's one there, and can you guys scoot down a little bit here so those two can sit together? Okay, there's a couple seats right here. Oh, heavens. I'm going to have to make this quick because I'm looking at the age of this generation over here. And yeah, the youngest guy over there is exactly my age because didn't you graduate in 1984? Yeah, so we played against each other in basketball quite a few years ago in high school. But it's been 40 years, right? So I'm finally getting over the fact that the Hurricane High School team was the only team to beat us on our home floor that year. I've been struggling, PTSD over it, but I'm over it now. Just want to let you know that. So remember, Reggie Campos shot that shot from almost half court. You remember that? Yeah, me too. Me too. So anyway, so what we're going to do tonight, at the end, we'll get the PowerPoint presentation. Right now, I want to talk about caucus meetings and, neighborhood elections. That's tough to break when you've been saying that for 20 some odd years. The neighborhood elections and how we make your precincts more effective for you. Okay, everybody in here is a precinct chair or vice chair. Pretty much everybody in here. Okay, those of you that are online, can you hear me? Okay. Gary, can they?
Yeah, they can hear you. Yeah, that's what I was just checking out. I can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay, well, we're introducing the neighborhood elections meetings, and just to give you an idea, when the caucus meetings won't be anything like what you've seen in the past. Okay, and there's a reason behind that. Hi, Randa. You brought our newest Republican?
Yes.
Okay, good. So come on in, you guys. There is one seat right there. We're out of seats. I apologize, but that's good. So as we talk about making the neighborhood election meetings better, I've thought about this, and I've been doing this for most of my career because I've held a lot of public speaking events over a lot of years. And I've been a part of a lot of surveys and studies when it comes to public speaking and meetings. Most people don't even like the word meeting, okay? But what we found when you have a meeting, and this is ancillary, but what we found after about 5 years of study is that everybody sitting on the front row, okay, they retain a lot more of the meeting than people of the second and third row back. Interesting. The only problem with sitting on the front row is when I get heated up and I get going, I spit a lot. So we need to hand out towels. Okay. So if you're in the front row, caution, warning. Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do when you have your caucus meeting, neighborhood elections meeting, it's pretty easy to take a 2-hour meeting and make it feel like a 4-hour meeting. If it takes too long to register and get in, if it drags, people are wondering what's going on, if there's no motivation and inspiration, there's no energy or anything like that. But you can also make a 2-hour meeting feel like a 1-hour meeting. And that's one of my plans with neighborhood elections. We're going to make it so when you go in there, you're going to have all the help you need to get the registration done very quickly. So who in here is a precinct chair? Raise your hand. Okay. So what you need to identify very quickly in the next month, you need to identify your top 10 people within your precinct that can be your helpers. And we're going to provide the training necessary so their computers can all be used at the registration. So when people start coming in to register, it happens fast because you got plenty of people. You've all been a part of a neighborhood election that we go to, and there's 1 or 2 people registering and there's a line. It takes too long to get people in the door. We're going to fix that, okay? But part of fixing that is you have to identify within your precinct the people that can help you bring their computers. They've got the software downloaded. It's all been practiced and prepared. And so when people show up for that night, that registration happens quickly. We're also going to have handouts at the registration desk, which will be the party platform. Because we've all been a part of these meetings where you go in and they have the receipt where they recite the platform, and it takes a long time to do that. I have a better idea. We're going to hand them out in advance and let people look at them while everybody's gathering, and then we'll have about a 5-minute question and answer session, so we can get to the heart of what does this mean? What do they mean by this? That stuff. Okay, that will speed things up a little bit. All right. Also, what I want every meeting to have, and this is going to take a little bit of preparation, not a lot, but a little bit of preparation, is we want patriotic music playing as people are coming in. Okay, so that when they're walking in, they're standing there registering, they're already tapping their toe a little bit, they're sitting in there, they're hearing this patriotic music play, and there's just a better environment. I'm going to introduce everybody to a concept. Hey guys, I'm going to introduce everybody to a concept called MoZone. Okay, MoZone stands for momentum zone. Creating an environment so that before their butts ever hit the seats, they're already kind of inspired and their heads are bouncing. And I did this the last 5 years at the LPGA tournament. You guys ever been to an LPGA tournament or any professional golf tournament? It's like watching paint dry. Okay? The golfers come up in pairs of threes, they do their thing, blah, blah, blah. So I'm the announcer off the tee box at the Copper Rock LPGA tournament. It's the best job out there. I get to meet all the best women golfers in the world from all over the world. And they come in their pairs of three. But after day 1, 5 years ago, I said, we need walk-up music. And so I got them to put speakers, all this stuff out. And I started asking the crowd and the players and the caddies, what songs would you like to hear as you're walking up to the tee box and doing that? All of a sudden, they get all these requests. And I've got this giant playlist now, LPGA playlist. And what happens when these golfers come up there, now they're used to it, so they'll give me their walk-up song, or the crowd will give me the walk-up song. And when people are coming up to the tee box, it's not like watching paint dry anymore, because the caddies are tapping their toes. And the women golfers are sitting there talking and they're dancing while they're on the tee box. And I don't know if they're supposed to do that with the LPGA, but I applied forgiveness over permission on that issue. But everybody loves it, and every year since they request it. So that's in our meetings. I want to have music playing, patriotic music. I mean, some Toby Keith's got to be going on, right? Lee Greenwood's got to be going on. There's some stuff we can put on. It's not a long thing. It's 10 or 15 minutes while people are registering, coming in, getting seats. They're looking at the party platform. We're going to have that going, okay? So I wanted to just introduce you to the idea, so that's in your head now, okay? So you know what to expect, and we're not going to make this harder on you. We're just going to prepare you in advance so all this is happening. Did everybody, whoever hasn't signed the sign-in sheet, please do so, because we need to know who's been to what training, and we are going to send you the PowerPoint. So I talked about the platform. Now, when you get into the caucus meeting, excuse me, I need to have a rubber band right here. And every time I use the word caucus, they need to snap it. When we get into the neighborhood elections a portion of it, we're going to have a prayer and a pledge, like we normally do. Then we'll have 5 minutes of question and answers on the pledge, on the platform, so we can discuss that a little bit, but not take 10 or 15 minutes to do this. 5 minutes. Then we're going to, this is going to happen, and this is, as I've interviewed, in fact, I had an interview with one of the county commissioners, Gil Almquist, the other day. He came over to my office. We had about an hour and a half talk. And it was a great conversation. And he committed to me that he would not gather signatures. Okay? Is that a big deal? That's a big deal. That's a big deal. What's that? Gil Almquist, county commissioner. It is now. It is now. But we had a great conversation about the neighborhood elections and about the conventions and stuff like that. And he agreed with me. But the neighborhood elections have some weaknesses. You guys all realize that, right? There's some weaknesses, and the weaknesses are amplified with low attendance. So we're going to fix that over the next 6 months, the low attendance. That's my game plan, as I'm going to go out in the community and get a bunch of people that aren't coming and have never come to your caucus meeting, to come to your neighborhood elections. All right, I'll get it. So, but when we do, the next thing we want to make sure you do when you have these neighborhood elections, after you talk about the platform, we want you to clearly define the elected officers' duties and meeting dates. Okay, that needs to be talked about. And I want you to say at these meetings, do not run to be one of these officers, chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer, state delegate. Do not run for this unless you're willing to do these things. And here are the things. Here's the dates of the county convention. Here's the dates of the state convention. Here's your job is to vet all of these candidates. And here's the questions. You need to ask them the questions that everybody wants to know. And then then what I want you to do is build a format within your own precinct that when you get the answers to the questions from each of these candidates, why not have something within your precinct where you have a group already set up where you can say, I met with this candidate and this is the question. It's already pre-made, and you just hit send and it goes to everybody in your precinct. Because that's the return and report. You got elected by people to go, I want to use the word vet, but the last training I did here in this room, somebody raised their hand and goes, what's vet mean? Which I understand. I mean, we know what it is. It's the process of talking to and asking candidates questions to find out where they stand in certain positions and certain policies to see if they fit, right? So I haven't come up with the exact terminology. I think people recommend interviewing candidates. That's a good one. So as you go interview candidates, which is your job, then we want to let everybody know what the responsibilities are and that what the dates are. So we don't have as much for Gary to do when it's time for the convention and we're trying to replace people last minute because they said, oh, I can't go because I got a hangnail. So when you commit to that, when you commit to that, you guys, that is an elected position. You are an officer elected. And your job is to go represent. Now, the other thing I want to make a very, very strong stance on here is that I do not want anybody to run for a county or state delegate if you're there because you already have in mind who you want to vote for. You are not representing people if you show up to get elected to vote for a predetermined person. You guys are with me on that? You are not, if they elect you to go interview and ask questions, and you've already got in your mind that I'm already voting for candidate A, well, you're not doing the job. And that's one of the breakdowns and one of the weaknesses within the system that everybody keeps pointing to. And when I was visiting with the attorney the other day, we were talking about this, and I think I mentioned this to Gil Almquist too. I said, do you know where that started? He goes, where? I said, Orrin Hatch. When he saw Bob Bennett get beat at the state convention, I was sitting right next to him, well, a couple people away. His chin hit the floor when Bob Bennett got outed by Mike Lee and couldn't even move on to the primaries. The very next cycle, guess what Orrin Hatch did? He started coming and doing meetings in all the towns. And then he started identifying his friends in those towns and getting those people to go to the caucus meeting, the neighborhood elections, and vote for him. That's called stacking the caucuses or neighborhood meetings. Is that a problem? Absolutely, that's a problem. And it becomes a bigger problem when we have lower numbers at the meeting. It's easier to manipulate that meeting if there's only 30 people there. Because that person can go there with an intent to run, to be a delegate, to vote for Orrin Hatch, and bring 5 or 10 of the friends, have them all convinced before they get there. And if there's only 30 people, it's pretty easy to win that. But if there's 100 people, it's not easy. You follow me on that? So we need to get a lot more people to show up, and I'm going to work on that for the next 6 months really hard. But when you hold these neighborhood elections, I want you, and I'm going to get you guys all this information. I want you to make sure that you announce this is what the responsibilities are, this is the dates, and do not run if you already have somebody in mind. We're on there's integrity in this, and we can fix the problems that have been rampant for years if we just do this right. You with me, guys? Everybody online, you with me on this? I'm just assuming they're all giving me the thumbs up. Okay, so then what you'll do is you'll announce the agenda, define the elected positions, meeting dates. I talked about all candidates vetting without predetermined decision. Then I talked about the neighborhood reporting. That's key. Do you know how much more powerful the repercussions are of that neighborhood election if you're taking the information you gathered about the candidates and you simply have a group in your precinct, then you send that out to everyone that came to the caucus meetings, and their job was to forward that to everybody in their neighborhood. That information flies like that. All of a sudden, everybody's getting information they've never got before. Okay, that's part of how we're going to fix this thing. Okay? Let's see. Then you're going to hold the elections. So you'll go through that stuff pretty quickly, define all that, and then you're going to hold the elections, and we're going to give you the way to do that, to make that as fast as possible. And then once the elections are done, you're going to close those meetings with decline to sign. Every single caucus meeting.
Neighborhood elections.
Okay. With neighborhood elections. Thank you, Sean. Sean, he is our party parliamentarian. And we've been trying to get together for like the last 5 days. We're just not making it work. But his job is to keep me on track at the meetings, and obviously his job is to keep me on track here. Right? Oh, that's what he's for. Yeah. Yeah, cattle prod. So you'll hold the elections, and then you will finalize that meeting with motivation and inspiration on how we take the convention system back. And I'm going to preface this with this. I've talked to a lot of legislators, and SB 54 came through legislation when I was the vice chairman of the state party. I was right there. I was on the House floor when they voted for it, trying to convince everybody not to vote for it. Prior to that, as the vice chairman of the state, I was in the meetings as the party representatives and the count my vote people that were pushing this dual path. I was in those meetings. And it was very clear to me back then that this dual path, this signature gathering path, is smoke and mirrors. Okay, what it's designed to do is turn us into a pure primary system, which effectively it has. Okay, it has done that because we have plurality in our primary elections, don't we? You guys know what that means? That's another one of those terms. That means instead of having 2 candidates in the primary and somebody's got to get 50% plus 1 to be our candidate, now you can have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people in the primary. I'm giving you guys this information so you have the talking points, answer people's questions. Because if you have 3, 4, 5, 6 people, what percentage does it take to win and be the elected official? 20 or 17 or 30, depending on how many are in it, right? So the question and the answer then is when you talk to somebody, you just say, well, if our governor or our House member or our county commissioner, whatever it is, if they get 20% of the vote, doesn't that mean that 80% of the voters out there didn't want that person? The answer is yes to that, right? Should that person be our elected official when 80% of the population doesn't want him? No. How do you fix it? Only 2 people in the primary. Now I'm going to go into something that I think David questioned me on the last meeting. What was the caucus convention system? That's the name of the system statewide. What was it originally designed to do? It was designed to weed the candidates down, so there's only 2 people that come out of convention and go to the primary, so that somebody's got to get over 50% to be our elected official. It was not designed to have one person come out. I'm going to give you the timeline in a minute. You'll see that. You'll see it. It's designed to have one person come out only in the rare exceptions where one of the candidates is so overwhelmingly popular with the delegates that they get such a high number that it washes everybody out and there's only one person left. So that one person then goes to the general election. That's what it's designed. So that happens once in a while. And the lower the threshold is, the more often that happens, right? Okay. So we actually want 2 people to go most of the time, because then they get to battle it out in the primary to the general public, and the general public's voice is now heard, and the general public has to elect somebody, and they have to get over 50% of the votes to be our elected official. That's the way it was designed to be. Yes?
I just want to clarify, it's the general Republicans, not the general public.
General Republicans, yes. Because the primary is just party specific, okay? I just don't want somebody to be my elected representative when they only got 16 or 18 or 20 or 25 or 30% of the vote. I don't want that. And it wasn't, the system was never designed to do that. So this whole decline to sign thing is to do what the legislature can't do. And I've talked to a lot of legislators, and every one of them tell me the same thing. Willie, the legislature will not get rid of SB 54. We won't. Quick question?
Well, just a point. The caucus system is different than the convention system.
Yeah.
It's 2 systems that we use together simultaneously. It's not
Correct.
one system.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I think that needs to be pointed out, because I think people get confused between the caucus system and the convention system.
So the neighborhood election system and the convention system, they're 2, yes, good point, yes.
Coming off of what is being said by Quinn, is neighborhood elections only going to be named that in Washington County?
For now.
That could be really confusing for people over the entire state,
Yeah.
in my opinion. So somehow, some way, we're going to have to, in my opinion, let people understand who are up in Salt Lake City, who may be voting down here or across the state, for that matter, knowing that, no, neighborhood elections means
caucus, yeah.
for us.
And right now, it's only Washington County. Yeah, it's just Washington County right now. The point here, Rob Axon, the state chair, and Phil Lyman, back before they run, they both asked me to do this in Washington County. Implement it when? With it here. Beat SB 54 with the people instead of the legislature. Okay, and then once we do that here, then we'll take it to the other 28 counties. Right now, it's just Washington County. We're focusing right there. Okay, so neighborhood elections, 2 people come out unless there's overwhelming, okay, that type of thing. We're trying to fix the weaknesses along with kill SB 54. So let me go through this PowerPoint, and again, I will get you to this, get you this information, because there's an understanding that goes along with this, and then there's talking points that you've got to have. That it's got to be ingrained in you, where you've said it enough times where you don't have to think about it. You act reflectively, it just comes out of your mouth, and people go, oh, I understand that. Okay, so neighborhood, the best election system, I'm going to have to get over here. You guys see that okay? Okay.
So did you say you have a sheet, basically a cheat sheet prepared for us?
Well, it's going to be this. We're going to email it to you. So you'll have the talking points. You'll see it at the end. Okay, and you don't need to, okay, let me guys, you don't have to dump your bucket on everybody and just overwhelm them with information. I'm giving you a bunch So, and you'll have this information out so you know. And I'm not going to go through it. I'll go through it quickly. The last 15 years, and this is from U.S. News and World Report. Last 15 years, Utah has consistently ranked among the top 2 states in the U.S., according to U.S. News and World Report. 2010 to 2022, Utah held the number 2 spot. Why didn't we have number 1? What was it that held us out from being the number 1 state all those years? What do you think? Think about the Salt Lake Valley and something called inversion. Air quality. Now you go outside of that, there's the stars. What smog, right? Yes, sir. The number 2 state in the entire United States, ranked by about 15 or 20 different categories, from incomes to lifestyle to all of these categories.
Could you put the word in to live in?
Huh?
Could you put the word to live in?
To live in.
Number 1.
Yeah, yeah. But for all those years, we were the number 2, and then from 2023 to 2025, it was the number 1 overall over all of the categories. You take all the categories, you rank states, we were number 1 state. Why is that? Is that because it's so pretty? Lots of states are pretty. Why is that? People have a lot to do with it. Who lives here? Okay? But there's something else. Because part of that ranking comes in our economics. The fact that we have a balanced budget, and most states don't. There's a lot of things that go into why we're one of the most financially solvent states. That's one of the equations in this ranking. But what brings all that to fruition is our elected officials. And the elected officials come to us what way? Neighborhood elections and conventions. It's not a pure primary system like other states. And so the success of the state is inseparably connected to the people that live here and the governing that happens here. And there's other things, obviously, but that's how that operates. And that system of operation, the way we nominate and elect our officials, is known as what? Test here. Neighborhood elections and conventions. Okay? So this is how this whole thing's come out. Now, the key strengths, and I'm not going to go over this right now because you guys will read all this. I want to save you time. This is the why. Okay, these are the whys. Final verdict by U.S. News and World Report. Utah's exceptional rankings are driven by smart governance, which stems from how we get them, doesn't it? Okay? Economic diversity, strong infrastructure, a culture of civic engagement, making it one of the best places to live and work in the United States. One of the big things that kicks out is we're number 1 every single year on charitable giving and service. Number 1 across the board, year after year. Okay? Now, let's give you guys the history. I'm going to step back over here. The history of our caucus convention system, I'm going to call that because that's what they call it here. In 1896, Utah becomes a state and adopts this caucus convention system. We're changing that in Washington County to neighborhood elections and convention system.
Was that the standard for most states?
Yeah. What for most states? I don't know. I don't know what this is. That's when this whole thing came, was in 1896. It's been here a day or two. Okay. Then in 1937, Utah direct primary law passes, eliminating the caucus convention system. We've tried it before to go to a pure primary system. 1937 to 46, voter participation plummets, campaign costs increase, and it calls for return to the back to the caucus system. Happened clear back then. Hey, Chad. Okay, then in 1947, Senate Bill 118 introduced a system of mass meetings, which is the same thing as our caucus, with an 80% threshold. Look at that, 80% threshold. In order to have one person win in the convention, you had to have 80%. What was it designed to do? Send 2 people out, right? Okay. In 51, nomination of judicial positions at convention was eliminated. We no longer did that at convention. 1969, House Bill 170 changes the threshold to 70. We went from 80 to 70 to have somebody win out of the convention and be the only winner. 88, the term mass meeting was eliminated in favor of party caucus. And we're going to be the reason the rest of the state goes to neighborhood elections. Okay? You guys help me be a part of that. Wouldn't that be fun if the whole state changed it? Okay. 2010, Tim Bridgewater and Mike Lee defeat three-term senator. I passed one. I'm doing this. Okay, yeah, I got to start over here. Got to switch to positions here. Let's see, 1993 primary election date was moved to the second Tuesday of September. 94, House Bill 395 deregulates political party, repeals statutes governing internal affairs of political parties, citing U.S. Supreme Court. That means we are a private entity. We're not part of the government, we're a private entity. We can do what we want, do it the way we want, okay? Then in 1996, Utah Democrats changed their threshold to 60%. Went 80, 70, down to 60. In 1999, Republicans moved their threshold down to 60. And guess what started happening? More often, we had one person come out of convention. And people fell in love with that because they go, we can win. And so who benefited from that right there? Well, in 2008, Jason Chaffetz nearly beat six-term incumbent Chris Cannon and in the convention with 59.01%, and then Chaffetz won it in the primary with 60%. So he didn't get the 60% threshold, but he was dang close. But that started scaring the money people right there. Then, 2010, Tim Bridgewater and Mike Lee defeat three-term Senator Bob Bennett at the convention. Lee eventually becomes the U.S. Senator. That event is the birthplace of Count My Vote, the group that forced this SB 54 on us. It's a well-funded, well-organized organization that's still in place today. And they pushed the legislature saying that if you don't give us a dual path, we're going to cover the state in a ballot initiative. We're going to have everybody vote. We're going to go door to door gathering signatures. Sound familiar? And we're going to convince the people to sign these things, and we will get rid of the caucus convention system, and we're going to go to a direct primary where we have plurality and lots, which is what we have now today too. Well, that threat caused the legislature, because I remember I was there. I was the vice chairman of the state. I was right there. I saw it all happening. That caused the legislature to pass SB 54, creating a dual path, the signature gathering path. Okay? And now we are 10 years later, and our system has been getting worse and worse and worse. Yeah, wait, she had her hand up first.
I'm a little OCD. Why are the dates all over the place and not chronological?
This is the way they put the brochure together. It starts here and goes this way, and then on the next one it kind of goes this way. It's just, I took this. This is a digital image of a brochure that defines all of this, okay? So this was the...
Really, when I go back and answer your question about how many states were caucus back in
Yes.
1937, so 34, since 34 and 35 out of 48 states back then were running the caucus convention system.
Okay?
And now we're really down to the last of them.
We're the last.
How many states are left?
Yes, sir. How many states are left to do this? Hey, guys.
Do you have to be a member of the party to sign for AB 54? Anybody can sign.
Well, it was the legislature that signed well, anybody can sign it.
Okay, this is what
Yeah, yes. So I'm just giving you this history, because if I just give you the brochure, you're going to say, what does all this mean? I'm trying to give you the backstory here a little bit.
Before you,
Oh, back one. Yes.
how did the 2010 activity or the HB 54 overcome the 1994 House Bill 359? If that says, they're not going to control political parties, then why is the legislature controlling political parties?
That's a great point.
And
They're not-
the answer.
Well, we're still independent, but our legislature passed something giving candidates a dual path around us. And you'll see that in just a second. It bothers me too. Because what that's saying is we're going to take control of how you run and elect officials in your private organization. That really bothers me. I don't think it's constitutional, but all right, let's move on. 2012, former high-ranking elected officials threatened GOP with a ballot initiative. This is what I was telling you about. 2013, Count My Vote attempts to push a party nomination threshold up to create more primaries. And I was here when this took place. I was actually trying to get people to do this. Utah GOP governing body, which is the delegates at the state convention, they voted down the proposal to increase the threshold, which is why Count My Vote went and did what they do. Okay, 2014 constitutional. I'll let you guys read. This was the lawsuit that the party did. Then Count My Vote starts its ballot initiative, and then to dismantle the caucus system. Keep My Voice, interestingly enough, Count My Vote, and keep a nonprofit organization created to challenge the Count My Vote, successfully halts the Count My Vote initiative, keeping it off the November ballot. Count My Vote sues the state and loses in the Utah Supreme Court. Okay, and we don't have time to go through all of this. Okay, here's why the system is so successful. Local caucuses or local neighborhood elections convene every 2 years, allowing this. And you know this stuff. I'm not going to go through all this because I'm going to send it all to you. I'm trying to be in the interest of time. Let's see, increased accountability. All right, here it is. This is a really good PowerPoint. This describes how our system works. It starts at home. People go to the neighborhood, elections. Okay, we elect people here. Those people go through instead of vetting, what is it? Interviewing process, whatever you want to call it. Okay, they do all the research. Then those people get they do their research. They go to the state and county conventions. They vote, and then whoever's left out, candidates that win here go to the primary. Whoever wins there goes to the general. And here we are. The signature path literally bypasses it all and comes right back there. That's how it now works. So let me go to this. The legislature is not going to overturn that because the threat by Count My Vote is still there. They've all said that. So the only way to kill that is through the people. And I'm not saying this next statement pointing this at any one county. All of the counties in the past 10 years have been chasing the wrong thing. They've been trying to increase caucus attendance. And when you try to increase caucus attendance, mainly what you're doing is you're focusing on those people that have been coming to caucus the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 years. You're just getting a hold of the people that have already been coming and trying to get a higher percentage of them. And when you do that, you have very minuscule success. Very minuscule increases can take place there. But if we go out on a mass basis, and this is where you guys all come in, and we go talk to everybody else, the other 85% of the population that don't even know that there's a county party, they don't know that there's delegates that live right in their neighborhood that has called and vetted or interviewed all of the candidates. They don't know those people exist, and they're across the street or around the corner. If they knew those people existed, they would do the same thing that happens to me every election cycle. I get a couple hundred phone calls every election cycle. Willie, tell me about these people. We know you know. Who should we vote for? But that's what happens to me. Well, if everybody in the county, and I'm not naive enough to think everybody, but I'm using that as a general term, if we ignite the other 85% so that they know these people are in their neighborhoods and they can just pick up the phone and say, tell me about these different candidates. And that becomes, listen to this, that becomes the preferred method of gaining information about the candidates rather than the flyers that you get mailed, tons of them, and the emails and the robocalls. Because none of that information on those flyers even has to be true. I tell this about every time I give a meeting. If you took every one of those little 5x7 cards you got by all those candidates and you laid them all on the floor in your kitchen and you took the names and the pictures off, you can't tell the difference. Right? So why do they do that then?
Because money always wins.
Because money wins in primaries. So he or she who can spend the most money sending you emails and robocalls and all these things and TV ads, Whoever can get their face and their name in front of the vast majority more often than the next person is going to win in the primary. And when you have a primary where there's 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different candidates, the influence of big money gets bigger and bigger and bigger. The wealthy people know this, you guys. Okay, that's why Count My Vote exists, because it's wealthy people that put it together. Because with the convention system, their money influence was waning when Bob Bennett got beat, and they could see it, and they go, "We got to change this. We can't let Bob Bennett lose. Our money's not winning this thing. How do we make our money make a bigger difference? Do a pure primary system, and boom, it's done." Because that's the backstory. And now you have it, and I'm going to send you this information. Okay? So, California, really quick. This is a couple of years old. State had $1.6 trillion in debt. Cost of illegal immigration per household, $7,000 per household per year. Cost of illegal immigration per state, 22, is that billion? Billion. Is that trillion? That's billion. That's still a lot, okay? And then 5.3% unemployment, highest in the nation. Companies leaving California, 352 between 2018 and 2021. Left. I personally have representatives with my firm that making sick amounts of money, and they called me and said, "We're out, Will, because they're raising the state tax to 13% or 17%, whatever it was." And he called me and said, "I'm moving to Tennessee. I can run my business from Tennessee. And each year I can buy 2 houses per year with cash with just my state tax savings." People left in droves. And you compare that to Utah, state debt below $1.8 billion, 35-year low. Cost of illegal immigration per household, $900. Total cost of the state, $931 million. 2% unemployment. National average was 3.9. What's the difference between the states? It's the way we nominate and elect our officials. And we have to save it. Okay? Decline to sign. Okay? Imagine this. And this is part of what we're fixing. We're doing some other stuff to make it sexier and all. Can I say that on this? Okay. Okay. Here are the 3 talking points. I'm going to say it the way I want you to say it. But you're going to have this information now, but I want you to say it this way. Okay? If you're talking to somebody about this decline to sign, and everybody's asking, what's this decline to sign thing that I see going down the freeway on the billboards? What's this decline to sign thing where there's 3,000 yard signs all over Washington County that says decline to sign? What is this thing? Can you imagine opening up that conversation countywide? And you arm the caucus, the neighborhood elections attendees with this information, and they all know these 3 things? Okay? Larry, stand up for a second, would you? Come on over here for a second. So I'm talking to Larry. He goes, "Willie, what's this sign thing?" Well, when you have a candidate that comes by your house or stops you out front of Walmart or Lynn's or wherever and says, or one of their representatives, and they say, "I need you to sign this, petition." Sorry, struck on the word. Sign this petition so that this candidate cannot get a ballot. You want your vote to count, don't you?
Well, yeah,
Well, if you don't sign this, your vote won't count.
really?
Yeah, here, sign right here.
Okay.
Now, you guys, thank you.
I'm easy.
Okay. No, Kevin, come back. Come here. Hey, come back here, Larry. Come here. Now, I've played dumb, you guys. I've played dumb at my house several times when they come to sign. And that's what they say to me, something like that. Is that true? Is this vote going to count? Yes. Yeah. So I'm saying, okay, if you sign this, here's the first thing you're authorizing. Notice the wording. You sign this, you're authorizing the candidate to bypass all vetting, research, answering questions, whatever, resources, never having to answer questions to the public. Are you okay with that? Oh, no.
No.
You're authorizing out-of-state super PAC money to dominate our elections. Are you okay to authorize that? Well, no. You're authorizing 3 or more candidates on the primary ballot, allowing a candidate to win with only 20% of the total votes, meaning 80% of the votes didn't want that candidate, they still got elected. Do you want that to take place? No. Do not sign that. And there's 3,000 signs all over Washington County in everybody's yard. And we've had mass meetings teaching the public about this. You want to increase caucus attendance? Go engage the other 85% and see what happens to caucus attendance. That fixes some of the weaknesses. You guys with me on this? This is how you do it. Yeah, go ahead, Larry. Yes, Nicole, and then
I haven't seen one yard sign yet.
we don't have them yet.
Oh,
No.
okay, 'cause I was gonna say,
No.
what are you talking, I haven't seen
No,
anything.
no, no. No, I'm talking about the plan. When should the yard signs go out?
Now. No, it should start now because people are asking and we have a general election coming up for our,
But it's municipal.
doesn't matter. Well, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does matter.
Yeah.
Because that won't matter.
Yeah, it won't matter. But when for the next election cycle, when candidates have to declare their candidacy and then they have to declare whether they're going to gather signatures or not, we want the county pummeled with these signs.
But it still should come out way before caucus, because when caucus
Yes,
happens,
yes.
we need to make sure
Yes.
we're explaining to people what that actually means.
And we can start getting them out before to try to get the word out and stuff. But at the caucus meetings, what if we got yard signs at every, what do we got now? How many how many neighborhood elections have we got now? Precincts? 125, 130? What if we had them signs out at every one of those precinct neighborhood meetings? And you guys taught them what this, and you told them this, and you gave them the information, and they're pumped up about beating this thing, and you're handing out yard signs like gum, and they're everywhere. Bruce, and then you.
Okay, I want to ask a question that you may not have an answer for. Do candidates, like a statewide candidate or a national candidate has to get 28,000 signatures?
Uh-huh.
Is there a certain number they have to get from Washington County?
Yes.
So if we can, one county can derail a candidate, one county in the
Did-
United States.
Did you guys know that?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, now think about this. Think about this. This is how Washington County can be the difference. Because they have to get a certain percentage of those votes from each county. Yeah, the signatures. So what if we do the job where everybody knows not to sign it? And then they look at this giant cost to go gather these signatures. And there's a big cost there. And they pay the cost and they can't get the signatures. What will happen to them next go round? I'm not gathering signatures. I'm not going to pay all that money because everybody knows I should not sign it. Yes. Who had their sign? Who had their hand? Oh, you were first. Okay, go ahead, ma'am. Speak loudly so people on these can hear you. Yes, I will. Thank you.
Okay, so I agree with them. We need to get the decline to signs out so that people come to our neighborhood meetings to say, what's this all about?
Okay, it's a great point.
So they'll show up because they want to learn why are you pushing this?
So
Maybe you'll get more attendance that way.
what a great idea. What if we had them out, a bunch out, people are asking questions, you tell them the 3 things and say, you want to figure out how we're going to beat this thing? Come to the neighborhood election. Okay, we have a question over here.
I was just curious about the realistic. What number of votes do you actually need from Washington County?
Did anybody know what the, well, it's different between, yeah.
For the statewide.
The question, yeah, you guys, let me repeat. Okay, hang on. Whoa, hang on.
Based on the last election.
Yes,
So that's why it changes.
it changes, and it depends. It depends on whether it's a statewide race, a county race. It depends on the numbers, and it's all based. I don't know what that number. Somebody said 28,000 something for a statewide. Yeah, for a statewide race, it was.
And that was for the governor.
Yeah,
I think it was 7,500 in Washington County.
Washington was about 7,500.
I
I know, but it changes because it's all based on how many people voted in the last gubernatorial election. So, yes, ma'am.
Some of us need to work with our HOAs because our HOAs are only allowing 2 weeks of yard signs.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
That's not enough.
That's not enough. So yes, you do. If you got an HOA, you need to go be a great and powerful influence in the lives of those people and go convince them why they need to be on board with this movement. So they allow the signs. That's how you do it. Yes.
Has a date been set for the neighborhood meetings?
Not yet, or did we?
Repeat the question, Willie.
Okay. The question was, has there been a date set for the next neighborhood elections? The answer is no. We've discussed that on the SCC calls and meetings like that. It's going to impact Washington County, I think, negatively, because when they're going to have it, it's going to be March 10th, I think, and that's spring break. Yeah. Yeah. The state chairman said, Willie, why do you guys have your spring break so early? I'm going, dude, have you been here? Yeah, how hot it gets, how early it gets, and it gets hot. We have our spring break. So that.
February 23rd or 24th.
Yeah.
Why are we going so far?
Well, because when you look at, okay, hang on. You guys, let's stop. These people need to hear it too. Why was it in February before and now it's in March? The legislature sets the dates for the elections, and there are predetermined time periods between elections, primary elections, when you declare candidacy. All of these things are set and they back them up. And you have to have a certain amount of time for each of those events. And so that's the answer.
So to follow up on that, my only concern with that would be the comment is we want to grow neighborhood election attendance.
Yeah.
And they want to use us as the guinea pig and you as the guinea pig to see how successful we can be. And yet they're going to run it during our spring break. That's only going to deter the attendance.
Yes, but they're not doing that for that purpose. They're doing it because that's the date that it has to fall on somewhere in that period based on the time periods between events. And so, yeah, that's just the way it falls.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that would be the thing I would, if I was the person who's in charge down here, that would be something I would be fighting hugely on because it's going to, it will negatively
impact our numbers. It will. And we're going to have to fight that. And when Haley and I, in fact, Haley was on one last night with the the chairs and vice chairs of the state last night. I was deterred. I was walking neighborhoods campaigning for my wife. So Haley, she's got the information on it. But yes, we're working with that because we told them. We said, you can't hold it on this, didn't we? We told them you can't do that. And they're coming back and saying, we're looking at the dates. We're out of dates. So we're working with that. We're doing the best we can. Quick questions. Make your questions quick.
Can you go 1 week earlier or later?
No, well, it would have to be statewide. We can't do ours in a different time. Has to do it. See, yes, ma'am, your question? Okay. All right. Any questions? Any other question real quick? Okay. Yes, sir.
Would it be illegal to put that information on a postcard and hand it out to people?
Nope.
We can do that.
We're going to make flyers. We're going to send email things out. We're going to send social media stuff out. I've got a guy that's going to be working with me to where when somebody gets online and goes to their favorite website, there'll be a Washington County Republican ad right there, decline to sign. And okay, we're going to have all of this going on. Okay, this is a new day. This is not business as usual. Because if we don't do this now, it's done. Okay, if SB 54 remains intact, the neighborhood elections and convention system will continue to wane, and eventually the legislature will make the decision to go to a pure primary. Yes.
I just believe it's all about messaging, and you have to keep it very simple.
Yes.
So, like I made my own little badge about that, you have to put GOP, so people know it's the GOP. I don't know what WCRP means.
This is just our website.
Well,
Yeah.
but you want people to read, your website has all this information that you have spent hours making a great presentation on. I can say, look at this presentation instead of, and you can read it for yourself in your own time.
Okay.
Same thing, her point about caucus versus.
Neighborhood elections.
Neighborhood elections. You gotta put a slash in there, because so many people know it's caucus, and then they're gonna say, well, what's this neighborhood elections thing now? You gotta build the bridge. Yeah, use both.
Hey, she,
Keep it simple, stupid.
she's not-
You gotta make it obvious.
you're not wrong.
You gotta make it obvious.
Yep. Haley's, you taking notes on this? Every time we have one of these meetings, you guys come up with great ideas, and she's taking notes, and we're compiling this stuff, and that's why we haven't put this out yet, because we want to tweak it so some of that stuff comes in. This, I just,
GOP somewhere.
well, maybe on the decline to sign thing, it says GOP or something like that. But here's what you got to remember. This is not exclusive to the Republican Party. It's a state system. Every party operates under the same system. So we can put GOP so that they know we're pushing it. We just put this up here so you would all have our website. Okay, we want you to go to the website, and we want you to drive people to the website, because in addition to what you talk to them about and whatever you hand them, go to our website, and we will have on our website this whole presentation. Everything will be there. Okay? All right. There it is. Decline to sign. Now, what we're tweaking here is a little bit of the logo, and okay. Yeah, logo change, all that kind of stuff. We're working on it, but we're started the movement, and I can tell you it's having an impact already, you guys. Listen to this. It's already impacting, because I have elected officials calling me, well, what's going on? I had one in my office just the other day that came to visit with me. What's going on? What are you doing? How are you doing it? And that specific elected official was Gil Almquist. And when we got done, he was fully supportive of our effort. And like I said before, if you keep the threshold at 70%, I will not gather signatures. That's a commitment. Okay? That's a commitment. And no, the state's 60. Our county's 70. Our county's 70. 60, 70, whatever it is. What's the main purpose? To have two people come out. That's the purpose. So I'm not that bothered about that. I don't want it to go to 75 or 80, because that just makes it ridiculous. Nobody can ever do it. But we need to keep it to where candidates can feel like I'm not going to show up and just get out of here every time I go.
So, I mean, if everybody here, for the most part, is the chair that went to state convention last time, not one, I don't believe, got over 70%.
Yeah.
And everybody who got on the ballot, who shouldn't have been, who basically won, was because of signatures, except for one race, and that was Celeste Malloy.
Yeah.
And Colby Jenkins, correct. So that 70% threshold is pretty severe to actually hit, and money, again, is going to win.
It absolutely can.
I
That one was
said
60%.
no one even hit 70%.
Yeah. But see, what are we trying to accomplish here, though? We're trying to get it where two people can go out, and somebody has to win by 50% in the primary. We get rid of plurality, we get rid of signature gathering, and we take our neighborhood elections and convention system back, and the people are in control again, not the state legislature. That's what we're trying to accomplish. There's steps to this whole thing, you guys. There's steps. This is a big effort, but it's worthy of our efforts. It is absolutely worthy of our efforts. Is there things that we need to work on about the percentage? There's all that stuff. But right now, what my focus is to have the people kill SB 54. That's the only path. In fact, when I showed this to Rob Axon, he said, I believe it was Rob, either him or Phil, he said, Willie, that is the only way that this can be done. It's the only way. He said, where did you put this together? I said, for the last 10 years, watching counties fail miserably at beating this thing because they keep chasing the wrong thing. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
HOA, a number of us are here, and you have our precinct listed Republicans. There's some kind of list of all these names, correct?
Uh-huh.
And what I'm trying to learn, how can we utilize that list legally? What are we allowed to do?
Well,
Do we have emails? Do we addresses, phone numbers?
Mhm.
I'm just telling you, I helped run our last caucus, and we have trouble having 10 volunteers with 10 laptops.
Yeah.
And so how do we get those names of people that are
So
interested?
we should be able to provide with you all of the caucus attendees with all of their information. Okay, however many that was at your precinct caucus. But we're working on something, right, Gary? Having 20 some odd thousand in Washington County, names and phone and cell numbers. And I think addresses too. Physical address, cell phone number, and names. And okay, and we're working on getting that to you, because that answers a big problem. How do we get a hold of all these people? Nobody's been able to get that to you. We're going to get it to you. Okay? Yes.
AFP has great list, Americans for Prosperity.
That's true. We in fact, Gary, I think we talked about that. AFP's got a bunch of lists. Americans for Prosperity. I think they do.
They have calling parties every week,
Okay.
calling out here in other states, and they have every Republican address in every precinct.
Okay. We'll reach out to them too, to add to what we already have. But we're prepared. We're getting this ready. Hang on, you guys. Wait, go ahead, ma'am.
We need to find a way also to maintain those lists, because when I have gone through and called people on those lists, they might not want to be on there anymore. They are so annoyed that I'm calling them.
Well, that's part of the game. Some people want to be really involved.
But
Some people.
But other precinct leaders as well, they say, I keep turning these changes in, and no one is keeping track of the changes that I'm submitting.
Okay, Haley, that's an issue. We need to make sure that when we get change of addresses, or not, but change of phone numbers, that we have a mechanism that we kick that right back to the precinct chairs.
Like voter.
Huh?
Like voter.
Yeah. So something else I'm working on. I didn't say this at the last training, but when I was running for the House, I had this app called. Was that Election Buddy? No, it wasn't Election Buddy. It was something else. It was like that. But I literally had an app. You guys, huh?
I used it to campaign.
You did. I can't. What was it called? Anyway, it was an app, and you could walk, and they had every house. It said who lived there, their names, and you can tailor it to whether they're Republican or whether they voted in the last 2 years or last 4 years. And so you only stop at the houses that are Republicans. We're going to get you that information where you have the app. Yes.
When I became precinct chair at the last neighborhood election, I was allowed to access a list that had every single voter in my precinct, what their affiliation was, and their address. It did not give me phone numbers or emails.
Yeah, that's the walkable precinct.
Yeah. We get that from the county.
That would be a tool
Yeah.
to know which doors to knock, to say, hey, come to
Well-
neighborhood election night, here's your decline to sign little handout.
Hang on, guys. Let's be respectful of other people. So yes, but that app does the same thing, and it shows you the house and the name. And then he's wanting a piece of paper. But what happens when you walk up to that house and you knock on the door and you talk to them about decline to sign and the neighborhood elections? When you get done, you simply tap the button. That one disappears, and so now you go to the next one. So you can see what houses you've been to and which ones you haven't. Okay, we're going to spend some money. Yes, Gary. We're going to spend some money to make sure we get you what you need, and the caucus city, the neighborhood elections are going to be rocking events where people walk out of there tapping their toes going, man, finally, I learned something and I'm excited. We got to change those things, okay? Because quite frankly, people go to those meetings, and because it was kind of humdrum, they don't come back. Okay, Gary.
Just gonna get closer to your mic and pick this up. I thought I had remembered, we were talking about HOAs and the restrictions on putting signs. I thought I had remembered reading about a state law that does not allow HOAs to outright ban political signs in your yards in HOAs. And it is Utah Code 57-88-218.
That's
Um,
too fast.
And, say again?
Say
No, you
it.
don't have to write it down. We'll get this stuff emailed out. Like when it becomes an issue, we'll make sure that we arm you with the correct information to go to your HOAs and say, you cannot have an outright ban.
We have city elections, like, you realize.
Okay.
And they wanna put out their signs
Okay, yeah,
now.
we'll get you that. Okay, fine, I'll say it
We'll get it to
slow-
you.
I'll say it slower right now. Section 57-8A-218. And the law basically says that a HOA cannot outright restrict you from having a political sign. It says though that it allows for reasonable conditions. I heard somebody say like within 2 weeks, so a time-based condition, a manner-based condition, so you can't have like a 18-foot sign covering the entirety of your house. So there are what they call reasonable restrictions. I don't know if 2 weeks is what's reasonable or not. I would say, like, if somebody feels like 2 weeks isn't reasonable, I would say go talk to your state legislature that represents you in where you live and say, hey, do you think 2 weeks is reasonable based on what is in the law that you represent us at?
And you're trying to get elected. Is that
Right.
Is that reasonable?
Do you think 2 week time limit is reasonable?
Yeah.
So that's all the state.
Thank you.
The state law says.
Thank you, Gary. That means HOAs can have political signs.
That's right.
That's state law.
Based on what has been said here, it sounds like your HOAs are following the law. They can do a reasonable duration and the size of the sign.
Yeah.
You can, and that includes inside your house. But here's what I agree with. I think given.
Hey, come up here.
Given a recent Supreme Court decision that says you can't look at the content of the sign, just the fact that it says in state law political sign should not be in there. We should be talking to our legislators and say, guess what? HOA people are normal people too.
Mm-hmm.
And so they should be allowed to put up those signs.
Political signs.
And it is reasonable to say a size, right?
Yeah.
But if you're getting into whether it's political or not, that should not be the arena that the state is in. I agree with you.
Yes.
Well, I just think if we're only allowed to do it 2 weeks before the election, that signing is already bypassed.
Yeah. Well, but that's gonna. Hey guys. Yeah, everybody's got the ballot. 2 weeks is not enough. But you need to go to your HOA and find out what those parameters are. If they don't have them, they can't restrict you. You have them? So find out what those is 2 weeks? Okay. Yours is 4 weeks in your HOA? Okay, 2 weeks. You guys got to go lobby the HOAs and get that. 2 weeks. I mean, you can't put a sign out after everybody's already got their ballots. You can't do that. That just doesn't work. Okay? All right. One more question right here.
We're also not allowed to go door to door.
Yes, you are.
Like you
And
said,
that's not
Sun River.
soliciting, you actually are.
Yeah, when it says no soliciting, like I was out campaigning yesterday for my wife, and there was a sign that had this and had all these things. It said, no soliciting, no politics, no blah, blah. So I just put the thing in the door and bailed. Okay. Yes. Yes. Let me make some introductions here. This is Casey Zeman. Come up here, Casey.
Okay.
Casey is the chairman, right here, bud. Chairman of our welcoming committee. And Nicole Mowry, would you come up here, Nicole, please, real quick? She's going, I don't want to come up here.
Why must I? I just
Okay.
called Nicole as my vice chair.
So she's our vice chair for the welcoming committee, and we're going to creating a system, and I have full confidence in these two, especially after talking to her today, of the system of operation. Your jobs is to, once a month, inform these guys of any new move-ins in your precincts. How do you do that? How do you know? You reach out to all your caucus attendees and say, hey, once a month, can you guys, and send one out once a month to everybody in their caucus list. It's a singular email, you guys, sent to a group. You already got the group built once. Hey, can you inform me of anybody that's moved into the neighborhood in the last 30 days? And they send you that information. You simply email these guys, and these guys are going to engage and go do a welcome. We're going to welcome them on social media. We're going to send a text. We're going to send an
Let
email.
them know what precinct they're in,
Yeah.
Yes.
who their chairs are, their vice chairs, their delegates, everybody's phone number, so they know who's in charge in their precincts, and they have someone to answer to. Those are all important things. So they get to tell you exactly what your precinct is looking to be voting for instead of you making that decision. And you get to answer to your precinct just like you're supposed to.
You see why I invited her up here?
Nicole and I and Willie had a very great talk today, and before this big meeting. So, and I got some great ideas, and Willie's got some great ideas. So we're hoping just help us out, get to know the new people, so that we can welcome them, make them feel welcome.
All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Okay, I am wound up, meaning I'm done and I'm wound up. So I got to not drink any caffeine after this meeting because I will not be able to go to sleep. I'm so wound up. I'm pumped about this. Yes.
If anyone is in District 74, come talk to me after the meeting. I'd like to meet you personally.
Okay, perfect. Okay, was this of value?
Yes.
Did you get something out of this? Okay.
Yeah.
Now what we're going to do is we're going to put some training together that says here's your neighborhood election meeting. Here's the agenda. Here's what you do. Have the music, Toby Keith. Okay, Lee Greenwood.
Get us your playlist so we all have.
You know what? We'll put a playlist together. Bam, dude. Hey, we're going to put a playlist together. And just you have the playlist. You're going to have the equipment there, and you're going to push a button, and it'll just play for you. The playlist will play. It'll automatically go through, and when it's ready to start the meeting, you hit stop and start the meeting. Okay? You guys, thank you so much. I hope this has been of value. Please go tell the other precinct chairmen that weren't here tonight. You missed out. You got to get to the next training, which is when? Huh? August 11th. Same meeting. Same meeting. Tell everybody they need to come, okay? Yes, last question. Last question.
I want Washington County to be the county.
Hey, listen.
Statement, I want Washington County to be the county that shuts down signature gatherings for statewide and national level candidates.
Boom. Okay? All right. Hey, thank you all. Thank you very much. Those of you online, thank you. Next time we have this online, we'll have a platform where you'll be looking directly at me and you'll have better lighting. Thank you all. Appreciate you.